It was one of those nights where the city of Los Angeles hummed quietly beneath the soft drizzle of rain. The neon lights flickered across the wet pavement, casting a glow that made the empty streets look dreamlike. Johnny Depp walked along a narrow alley, his hands tucked into the pockets of his long coat. He had just finished a late-night meeting with a director, but his mind was elsewhere. These late walks were his escape, from fame, from flashing cameras, from the noise of the world. But that night, something unexpected happened. A faint whimper. Johnny stopped mid-step. He turned his head toward a pile of cardboard boxes near a dimly lit street lamp. There in the shadows lay a small, scruffy dog. Its fur was tangled and matted, soaked from the rain. Its ribs pressed against its thin skin, and its paws were scratched, as if it had been running for miles. The little dog lifted its head weakly, meeting Johnny's gaze with large, sorrowful, golden brown eyes. Johnny knelt down, his heart aching. "Hey there, buddy." His voice was soft, careful not to startle the poor thing. The dog flinched at first, but hunger overpowered fear. Johnny reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a leftover sandwich from earlier. He tore off a piece and extended his hand. The dog hesitated for only a second before snatching it and gobbling it down. Johnny chuckled. "You're starving, huh?" He fed the dog the rest of the sandwich, watching it devour every crumb. Then carefully he reached out and ran a gentle hand over its damp fur. To his surprise, the dog didn't pull away. Something inside Johnny stirred. This wasn't just a stray dog. This was a survivor. With a deep breath, he shrugged off his coat, wrapped the shivering pup in it, and cradled it against his chest. The dog rested its head against him, exhausted but trusting. "You're coming home with me, buddy." And just like that, a new chapter in both of their lives began. Johnny's house was a warm sanctuary compared to the cold streets. He gently placed the little dog on a plush blanket near the fireplace. The pup curled into the softness, its tail giving the smallest wag. "Let's get you cleaned up," Johnny murmured. The first bath was a disaster. Lucky, yes, he had decided on that name, was terrified of the water at first. But after some soothing words and Johnny getting half-soaked himself, Lucky relaxed, letting the dirt and grime wash away. As the water turned murky, a new dog emerged beneath, a handsome little creature with soft golden fur and sharp, intelligent eyes. Over the next few weeks, Lucky transformed. His ribs disappeared under the nourishment of good meals, his fur shined under the care of proper grooming, and most of all, his spirit returned. Johnny, too, changed. He had always been surrounded by people, fans, managers, directors. But there was something different about Lucky's presence. It wasn't admiration, obligation, or business. It was pure, unwavering loyalty, and Johnny cherished it. Lucky became Johnny's shadow. On film sets, he sat quietly beside the cameras, watching as if he understood every scene. At interviews, he lay at Johnny's feet, completely at ease. Fans began to notice him, and soon Lucky had his own little fan base. Paparazzi snapped pictures of the duo walking through Paris, boarding private jets, and even strolling through the streets of Venice. "He's not just a dog," Johnny once said in an interview. "He's family." But Lucky wasn't just a companion. He was a protector. It was a cold December night when Johnny returned home late from a shoot. He stepped inside, expecting Lucky to greet him at the door as always. Silence. A low growl echoed from the hallway. Johnny's instincts kicked in. He tensed, scanning the darkened house. Then he saw it, a figure near the back window. Before Johnny could react, Lucky lunged. The burglar barely had time to turn before Lucky's teeth sank into his arm. The man yelped, struggling to break free. Johnny rushed forward, grabbing a nearby lamp and swinging it hard. The intruder stumbled back, clutching his bleeding arm, then bolted out the window. Johnny flicked on the lights, his breath coming fast. Lucky stood there, panting, his fur bristling. But as soon as Johnny knelt down, Lucky licked his hand, wagging his tail as if to say, "I've got your back." Johnny exhaled a laugh. "You're a damn hero." The next morning, the story hit the news. Headlines weren't about Johnny Depp this time. They were about Lucky, the brave street dog who had saved him. As the years passed, Lucky remained Johnny's most faithful companion. They traveled the world together from Tokyo to London. On red carpets, Lucky walked beside Johnny, his small paws striding confidently. But time, as it does, moved forward. Lucky's golden fur became streaked with gray. His steps became slower, his once sharp eyes now softer with age. Johnny knew the inevitable was coming. One evening, they sat together on the porch of Johnny's home in the French countryside. The sky was painted in hues of gold and pink. Lucky rested his head on Johnny's lap, his breathing slow and steady. "You've had a good life, haven't you, buddy?" Johnny murmured, stroking his fur. Lucky wagged his tail weakly, as if to say, "The best." And in that moment, Johnny knew. When Lucky passed peacefully in his sleep, Johnny was heartbroken. He buried him beneath a tall oak tree on his estate, marking the spot with a simple stone that read, "Lucky, the dog who saved a man's heart." But Lucky's story didn't end there. Johnny dedicated a foundation to rescuing stray dogs, ensuring they found homes and love, just as Lucky had. The foundation became a beacon of hope, helping thousands of dogs across the world. And whenever Johnny walked through the quiet halls of his home, he still felt Lucky's presence, his warmth, his loyalty, his love. Because some bonds never break, not even in the afterlife.